to Hartman. Hartman sends this one on a rope out over the wall. Liftoff for Jensen Hartman. Payoff pitch. Strike 3 called. The 0-1 and Metakosh the other way, deep to the gap and gone. As Rittenauer sends it out deep, Metakosh gives the charge and it's gone. Hard gets the sign, the wind, and the 0-2. Strike 3. As this one's chopped up the line, going to be a tough play for Long. Runner comes home to score, and the throw is not in time. Sends this one in the air, right side, back, and that one bounces, and it gets to the wall. DeMoss off to the races. Fezco will score. There comes Mashelia. It's a 2-run double for Joey DeMoss. It's the 2A semifinals here from Norwin High School. Number 2, Frazier, 17-0. And number 6, OLSH, 10-3 coming into play here this afternoon from Norwin High School. A beautiful and breezy Wednesday afternoon as the Frazier Commodores entering what is now their 5th straight WPIAL 2A semifinal. They've made 3 of the last 4 WPIAL title games, missing last year, losing in this very game to a team that was eliminated by Bentworth in the first round, that being Ligonier Valley due to some injuries, mainly with Maddie Griffin, stunting Ligonier Valley's playoff hopes. But Frazier looking to do exactly what EF did in the 4A game after losing in last year's semifinal, get back to the WPIAL championship game. 12 straight playoff appearance for the Commodores as they look to get back to the big dance. Alex Lyons alongside my broadcast partner today. That's, of course, Jose Negron. And Jose, you wrote Game 1 on the air for Game 2. Appreciate you coming over so I don't have to do it solo.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens here in this one. Of course, the second-seeded Commodores and the number 6-seeded OLSH Chargers. 10-3 on the season is OLSH. 17-0 are the Frazier Commodores, and I know this is a Frazier team coming off a slim 6-5 victory over the Seton LaSalle Rebels, and a little bit of a close one there for the Commodores, but hoping to have some more luck here today and remain unbeaten and get a chance to play for another 2A title.
Oh, absolutely. That is always an important thing. You get the chance to get there. Frazier's lone seniors here on your screen there, Tori Wyszynski. This is her last shot at a WPIAL championship here in her last year. But for the Frazier Commodores, it was a close game in that last one, but it didn't have to be. Some ugly mistakes we talked about yesterday on the Valley Sports Guys podcast for the Frazier Commodores. And those are things that need to be corrected coming into this semifinal game against OLSH. As one thing is known for sure. The last 2 times Frazier was in the championship game, they took on the Laurel Spartans. This year, that will not be the case if they make it. Neshannock walked off Laurel 1-0 in that game. So last time Frazier faced a team not named Laurel in the championship game, that was the last time they won the district title back in 2017 when the Frazier Commodores beat Southside Beaver 2-0. Their last state title for Frazier was back against Brandywine Heights, 6-5 championship, as that was, of course, the year before the COVID year back in 2019.
Yeah, and it's funny because me and Jeremy Slew, our sports editor at the Mon Valley Independent, were just kind of reminiscing about when Frazier won that WPIAL title. That was Logan Hartman's freshman season when she was in the pitching circle for these Frazier Commodores, won that title at California University, which will be the host of this year's title games as well. And Tori Wyszynski was a freshman when Frazier won the state championship back in 2019, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of crazy to see these players kind of grow through the program and get to play in these big games. And I know Wyshynski wants to win another WPIAL title, and I'm sure that this is a Frazier team hungry to make some noise in the state playoffs.
And that's a lot of Hartmans over there. I see Donnie, I see Mandy, I see Logan. There's Grayson and Jensen running onto the field as the Hartman clan's there, if I'm not mistaken. That's Logan straight across from us, isn't it, in the green jacket?
I believe so.
It looks like Logan.
It's hard to see kind of through this screen. I believe that is Logan Hartman, who was just unbelievable during her high school career here at Frazier. 4-year starter in the circle for the Commodores, and she kind of took over for those 4 years and didn't really look back, and kind of gave the helm over to Nicole Palmer, who's in her second season as the Commodore starting pitcher and has had very good success in her own right.
Obviously, we wish the best to Logan, with everything she's been doing and, helping bring awareness to that stigma inside of sports. Of course, Logan just an incredible athlete. And, they went down the ladder. Logan 44, Jensen 33, Grayson 22. It all started with Logan wearing her dad's number 44 and talking to Mandy, the assistant, she's like, well, we couldn't go up. We had to go down the ladder with numbers 33 to 22 with the Hartman girls, as Delaney Walsh will lead off out in center field. Kaylee Fabiano bats second out at second. Morgan O'Brien in the 3 spot out at third base. Batting cleanup will be Justina Giles, the pitcher. In the 5th spot, Cassidy Fabiano, the senior catcher, followed by Ava Chumo, the freshman left fielder. Batting 7th will be Grace DeGiacomo, the junior, out in right field. In the 8th spot, Lauren Schwegas, the sophomore first baseman, and Alyssa Mitten, the junior, will bat 9th at the shortstop position as Delaney Walsh gets set to start us here this afternoon from Norwin High School. Winner gets Neshannock in the 2A title game as Walsh digs in against the sophomore Nicole Palmer. First pitch, low, ball 1, 5-0-2 first pitch by Nicole.
Nice to welcome the Frazier Commodores to good old Norwin High School.
The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Count pulls even, 1-1 on Delaney Walsh. Nicole Palmer, second straight season, over 100 strikeouts. As Palmer gets the field, the signs from Bednar, the 1-1 home inside. Count goes 2-1. As that one just misses. Glenn Hart behind the dish. Eddie Marco over at the first base bag, and the other field umpire over at third is Mike Mance. The 2-1 by Nicole Palmer. In there, count pulls even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, nobody out. Top of the first, winner gets number 1 seeded Neshannock. And if it is a Commodore-Lancer matchup, that will be a battle of the unbeatens. The 2-2 by Palmer. That one's launched out to left. Under it is Demakis. And Claire Demakis makes the leaping grab for out number 1 on the F7.
Almost looked like it was going to kind of sail over Demakis' head. But nice job making an adjustment out there to get the first out of the frame.
Demakis in left, Jensen Hartman in center with Felsher in right. Vaughn, Wyshynski, Hartman, and Warnick third to first around the horn, and Palmer being caught by the freshman Bednar. Swing and a miss, strike 1 on Kaylee Fabiano. Fabiano, the senior second baseman, one of 2 Fabianos, the twins on this team. As Palmer misses with that one outside, count goes even, 1-1 on the right-handed hitting senior second baseman Kaylee Fabiano. Palmer rocks and deals the 1-1, and Palmer pulls ahead 1-2.
I think Fabiano thought that one was a little low and inside, but Palmer hits that inside corner.
It's to Fabiano, fouled off the backstop, count stays put. 5th straight playoff appearance for the Chargers. They have not made it to the semifinals since at least 2004. This is their first one since then. No championship appearances. Is that one up high, 2-2 now on the senior second baseman.
We got to see him in last year's postseason, a first-round win over Sarah Catholic, high-scoring game at North Allegheny.
Last year was their first time winning games in the postseason since 2007. as things fill up on the senior Fabiano.
Yeah, Palmer wanted that call in the outside corner, but.
And that was a call that was not given in game one. It was a tight outside strike zone. One out, nobody on. The payoff pitch by Nicole Palmer in the air. Out to shallow center, drops in front of Jensen Hartman. And it's a one-out single by Fabiano, putting a runner at first and one down for the hottest hitting OLSH Charger this postseason. That's Morgan O'Brien. O'Brien in her 2 playoff games so far, 6 hits, 12 RBI, a home run, and 2 doubles.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not a bad day at the office. Or 2 days at the office, I should say.
That was a great at-bat by Kaylee Fabiano, too, to drag out that AB and get on for O'Brien.
First pitch ball up high. As back in, here's Morgan O'Brien. OLSH got here by beating Bentworth 12-2 in the quarterfinals. Bentworth finished 4th in the Commodore section. That one outside. Bednar looks the runner back to first and fires to Palmer down in the count. Two balls, no strikes, one out, pitch home, and that one's lined out over the head of Wyszynski into center. Hartman bobbles it, but staying at second is Fabiano. As Fabiano does not advance any further, so back-to-back singles off the sophomore Palmer. Now Justina Giles has a chance to help her own cause here in inning number 1.
Yeah, that'd be huge if she's able to bring in Fabiano from second and get a little bit of run support for herself going into the bottom of the first.
As Giles digs in, pitch by Palmer, misses. Ball 1. Palmer hasn't found the zone really at all in this one. Not what the Commodores were looking for out of their sophomore Nicole Palmer. No matter what, the winner will play another game. Both teams are in the state playoffs as well. It'll be a Concy game. Loser gets Laurel, winner gets Neshannock. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 on. OLSH trying to strike here in the top of inning number 1. The 1-1 by Nicole Palmer. Make it 1-2. It would be a big time for Nicole to find her first strikeout of the game, if she can get it. 2 on, 1 out, 1-2 count here on Justina Giles, the junior pitcher. Palmer gets the sign from the freshman Bednar. The 1-2 by Palmer. That one's in the air. Hartman ranging back in, off the base of the wall. Hartman quickly fires it back in, rounding third. Throw to home. Bednar applies the tag. Throw to third off the glove of Vaughn, but backing up was DeMakis. The Commodores get the out at home. As it's a great 8-1-2 retirement at home.
Yeah, pretty crazy. The run didn't score on that play. And
they almost doubled them off to end the inning.
Yeah, Giles was thinking too right out of the box, and a little bit of hesitation on the base runner's part.
Runners at the corners now with 2 out, though, so Palmer, who's been hit hard, can get out of this unscathed.
And really close to that being a 3-run home run.
Yeah, great job, though, by Jensen to Palmer to Bednar. First pitch fouled off the top of the backstop. That's strike 1. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Cassidy Fabiano. Fabiano, the senior catcher, trying to pick up her sister. Thrown out at home. The 0-1 by Nicole Palmer. Ground ball, Wyszynski on to Warnick in time. 6-3. Fabiano retired. No runs on 3 hits, no errors, 2 left stranded. Hartman, Palmer, Bednar, 8-1-2. They retire the runner Kaylee Fabiano at the plate to keep it scoreless. So Frazier dances through some traffic, and they'll come up to bat in a scoreless game right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, as we will take a look at the starting 9 for Coach Donnie Hartman's Frazier Commodores. As leading off will be the junior center fielder Jensen Hartman, batting second the junior right fielder Maria Felsher. In the 3-hole, it's the senior and Glenville State commit Tori Washinsky, followed by the cleanup hitter, part of that murderous row of Delaney Warnick. Then batting in the 5 spot will be the freshman third baseman Grace Vaughn, followed by Emmy Bednar, the freshman doing the catching. Batting in the 7 spot will be Grayson Hartman, the freshman second baseman, followed by the sophomore pitcher batting 8th, Nicole Palmer, and batting 9th will be the sophomore left fielder Claire Damakis. So Jensen Hartman, Felsher, Washinsky, Warnick, Vaughn, Bednar, Grayson Hartman, Palmer, and Damakis for the number 2 seeded and 17-0 Frazier Commodores. 3 hits that inning, and Palmer gets out of it unscathed. As loosening up here is Justina Giles, trying to match that 0 that the sophomore Palmer put up in the first. Giles, the junior. And Frazier, 5th straight WPIAL semifinal appearance, looking for their 4th championship appearance in 5 years, in their final year, at least for now, in 2A. Jensen Hartman gets set to lead things off. Jensen Hartman, volleyball star here at Frazier, star in softball as well. 5.19 on the season, 4 long balls for Jensen.
And one of those homers in that quarterfinal win over St. LaSalle, 3-run home run.
First pitch, ball 1 to Jensen Hartman. You see we'll switch cameras, the purple and yellow in the hair of Jensen Hartman, of course, with the tragedy with the James Madison catcher.
Yeah, Lauren Burnett and a lot of these Frazier players had a close relationship with Burnett and played with her throughout travel ball. And
95% sure, 99 that Logan played a long time with her growing up, as that one misses as well. Jensen Hartman up early on here, 3 balls, no strikes, as Jensen trying to get aboard to start the bottom half of inning number 1. All 9 starters for this Commodore team made All-County this season for the Commodores, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Jensen Hartman to start the game. So Hartman at first, nobody out. Here comes Maria Felsher. Felsher had to step into that number 2 spot where the Commodores thought they'd have Madison Bednar this year. Felsher ran into that full speed ahead. Over 300 on the season for Maria Felsher. 3-sport athlete for the Commodores. Felsher, volleyball, basketball, softball. Softball probably her best, pitched by Giles. Inside, 5 straight balls to start for the junior right-hander.
The Commodores embracing a patient approach here to start, forcing Giles to throw strikes here early on.
Hartman at first, nobody out. Pitch by Giles to Felsher. Finally, there's the first strike of the game for Giles on Maria Felsher. Hartman at first, nobody out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bottom of inning number 1 here in a scoreless game. 2A semifinals. Winner gets number 1 to Shannick. Stabbed at and fouled off on the bunt attempt by Maria Felsher.
I think that got a piece of Cassidy Fabiano behind the plate.
1 on, nobody out. Giles toes the rubber. Rocks and fires home to Maria Felsher. Felsher grounder out to third and sliding, stopped by Mitten. They won't get Felsher. It's an infield single for Maria Felsher. 2 on and nobody out for Tori Washinsky. And Torrey started the playoffs in a big way for the Commodores. 5 long balls on the season for the Glenville State commit.
And 26 RBIs, just under 400 on the season for the lone senior in this starting lineup.
Pitch to Wyszynski, ball 1. You know, Torrey Wyszynski showed a tremendous amount of leadership in that quarterfinal game after the big Commodore error, calling everybody in, calming them down, getting that final out, and moving on to this game here. 2 on, nobody out. Pitch to Wyszynski. Wyszynski in the air, left side, up, out of play, and the count goes even at 1-1 to the senior shortstop Wyszynski. As Torrey digs back in. Hartman at second, Frazier at first. 1-1 count on Torrey Wyszynski. The junior Giles rocks and deals. That one bounces, gets away. There goes Hartman and Frazier. They both advance 60 feet. So 2 in scoring position on the wild pitch for Frazier and Torrey Wyszynski. Huge RBI opportunity early on. It's not like he can pitch around her either with Delaney Warnick on deck. 2-1. The pitch to Wyszynski. And the count pulls even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first of the 2A semifinals. Winner gets number 1, the Shannigat, California on the second. Torrey Wyszynski digs in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch home by Giles to Wyszynski. Up high and the count's full. Base runners have been aplenty here in the first inning, both sides. Frazier at second, Hartman at third, Wyszynski in a full count, nobody out. Bottom of inning number 1. Payoff pitch by Giles, ball 4, Wyszynski walks. And they're loaded for Delaney Warnick. 521, 5 homers, 30 runs batted in for another Glenville State commit in Delaney Warnick. And she can put the Commodores ahead early on. Bases loaded, nobody out for Warnick. Giles on the rubber, 2 walks and an infield single. Pitch to Warnick. In there, strike 1. Runners aplenty. Here in the first inning, bases loaded, nobody out. Scoreless game, bottom of the first, 2A semifinals, Frazier and OLSH. As that one sails up high on Delaney Warnick, count goes even on the junior. Warnick helped lead the Commodore basketball team to the playoffs this year, looking to help lead this team to a WPIAL title. The 1-1 to Warnick. Warnick to the right side, second baseman Fabiano on to first. It's an RBI ground out for Warnick. Goes 4-3 as Jensen Hartman comes in to score the ice-breaking run.
Yeah, it gets the job done, you know. Used to seeing Warnick drive the ball, but hey, 4-3 ground out brings in the game's first run, and you'll take that, especially with 3 talented freshmen here now coming up, starting up with Grace Vaughn.
321 for the freshman Vaughn. Broke onto the scene as a star volleyball player for the Commodores, and Coach Mandy and Donnie Hartman just reversed their head and assistant titles. As they've really built this winning culture at Frazier, whether it be volleyball or softball, you expect the Commodores to have their name in the thick of things. 2 on, 1 out, 1 in. That one bounces to the freshman Grace Vaughn.
A stretch of 3 freshmen in a row for the Commodores as Emmy Bednar and Grayson Hartman waiting for their turn.
The 2-1 inside, or 2-0, I should say, make it 3-0 on the freshman Grace Vaughn.
It's really tough to pitch around Vaughn, too, because Emmy Bednar sitting there over 400.
Third leading hitter on the team as a freshman. Didn't think she was going to be doing all the catching, just some. Has done 99% of it this year.
Yeah, with Jensen Hartman moving out to center field. Hartman caught the first few games of the season before Bednar went
through
back
the Charleroi game.
Yeah, through the Charleroi game, and Bednar has been really good back there for Nicole Palmer.
As Vaughn fouls it off down the third base line. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 on, 1-0. Frazier leads here in the bottom of inning number 1. An RBI ground out by the junior Delaney Warnick, plating Jensen Hartman. And if you're OLSH, you feel like it's a win if you only give up 1. Frazier got to find a way to put that crooked number onto the board here in the bottom of the first. The pitch by Giles to Vaughn. And Vaughn the other way, a little blooper, drops down, and Grace Vaughn is out at first, but Frazier comes in to score. And safe at third goes Wyszynski. It's going to be a 3-4 retirement and an RBI for Grace Vaughn, and it's 2-0 Frazier as Maria Frazier comes in to score. She had to wait on that one due to the fact, could it be caught, could it drop in? It fell in, and it's an RBI ground out for the second straight batter, and here comes Emmy Bednar, the freshman. Bednar's driven in 14, 435 on the season for Emmy. Up high, ball 1. Bednar started the season in the outfield for the Commodores. Again, moved back behind the dish. Older sister Madison on the team as well, unable to go this season with an injury. But Frazier still right there in the thick of things, losing a girl that batted .382 last year.
Yeah, she's one of these talented pitchers, you know, a duo joining Nicole Palmer, but Palmer is taking control of that number 1 role and has done a great job in that position.
Runner at third, 2 outs, and now it's 2-1 on Emmy Bednar. Wyszynski 60 feet away from giving the Commodores a 3-run advantage. Giles pitch home to Bednar. That one paints the outside. Count goes even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Wyszynski at third. 2-0 Frazier leads here, bottom of the first inning. Winner gets number 1, the Shannick in the 2A title game. Giles toes the rubber. 2-2. Bednar slaps it out to short into the glove of Mitten across and in time to get Bednar on the 6-3. Mitten to Schweigis. As the Commodores strike for 2 runs, they do it on just 1 hit, 2 walks, no errors, and Tori Wyszynski left stranded. We've played 1 full inning here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason. Here on the Triple I High School Sports Network, your score, the Commodores 2, the Chargers 0.
Life is full of surprises. Some good, some not so good. It's why your State Farm agent is there with good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates for everyone. Yep, that's right. At State Farm, you get great service and great rates with every policy, so you can be prepared for all life's surprises. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Brian Warnick in Perryopolis today at 412-668-0111.
Back here from Norwin High School, the home of my broadcast partner, Jose Negron. Jose, you want to get a Go Knights in there?
Go Knights.
Figured you would like that. But here comes Nicole Palmer. She worked through some traffic in the top of the first, put the Commodores' bats to work. They struck for 2 in the bottom half. They're up 2-0 here in the second. And it's Ava Chumo, Grace DiGiacomo, and Lauren Schweigis due up 6, 7, 8 in the Chargers' order. As 3 straight singles after a leadoff flyout, the 8-1-2 retirement of Kaylee Fabiano kept it scoreless, and then a 6-3 ground out ended the inning before Frazier could take the lead. First pitch, strike 1, as Palmer paints the inside on Ava Chumo, the freshman left fielder. No balls, 1 strike, as that one's line foul past Delaney Warnick. Over at first, 0-2. See if pitching with a 2-run cushion gives Nicole Palmer a little more confidence. Chumo digs back in. Nobody on, nobody out. Top second. 0-2 the count. The pitch by Palmer. And that one just misses to Chumo. 1-2 the count goes. Palmer gets the grip. Nicole rocks and fires. Check swing fouled off Emmy Bednar. As home plate umpire Glenn Hart will dust off some of the monofilaments on home plates. And if you didn't know, now you do. That's what those little black rubbers are called in turf.
You learn something new every day.
Giving Emmy Bednar a second. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. 2-0 Doors lead as that one's fouled off the backstop by the freshman Ava Chumo. The winner will take on the Shannick in the 2A title game. Loser gets Laurel. Palmer toes the rubber. The sophomore rocks and deals. Breaking ball, grounded up the middle, off the bag, and it bounces off Wyszynski. As it's going to be an infield single by the freshman Chumo to start off the inning.
You mentioned the Shannick, Alex. They'll be playing in the 2A title game in both baseball and softball, as the 7th-seeded Neshannock baseball team will be facing the top-seeded Sarah Catholic Eagles on Tuesday at Wild Things Park.
Yeah, we have the possibility of 2 Lawrence County Mon Valley matchups if the Commodores hang on for this one. It's Sarah Catholic and Neshannock in baseball, and it's either Frazier and OLSH in Neshannock in softball. As there's ball 1 by Palmer. Chumo at first after the infield single. Here's Grace DiGiacomo, the junior right fielder. Palmer, the 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. As Nicole blows it past DiGiacomo. Palmer, the 1-1. Paints the outer third, make it 1-2. No strikeout so far for Nicole Palmer, a very much strikeout pitcher. We saw one of the best strikeout pitchers in the entire WPIAL earlier in Katie Armstrong, over 200 Ks this season. Pitch by Palmer in the air, right side. Warnick, foul territory, gave chase along with Hartman. Nobody will get there as it falls harmlessly to the turf, and the count stays 1-2 on DiGiacomo.
Yeah, no strikeouts for Palmer. She's given up 4 hits here through an inning of work and gotten her outs via ground out, a fly ball, and the out at home in the first inning that kept the Chargers from taking an early 1-0 lead.
169 Ks on the season as that one's flared out to Warnick. Foul territory, can't get there. Hartman went racing for it, but Grayson Hartman comes up empty.
Yeah, Warnick kind of gave up on it, I think, a little early. I don't know if...
I thought Warnick had the best shot at that.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, maybe Grayson made the call for the ball and almost made a spectacular play there.
1 on, nobody out. The 1-2 by Palmer. Fouled off again. Down the right side towards the Commodore dugout. Count stays put at 1-2.
Couple of long at-bats here early on here for OLSH hitters. Nice AB here for DiGiacomo. Fabiano had a nice one. Kaylee, that is, the top of the lineup.
Pitch by Palmer, grounded foul. Third base side this time. 1 on, nobody out. 2-0 Frazier leads here in the top of the second inning over Our Lady of Sacred Heart. 1 on, nobody out. 1-2 the count on Grace DiGiacomo. Palmer gets the sign. The sophomore finds the grip she likes. The 1-2 by Palmer, and drop third, strike throw to second, and in safely there is Chumo. Batter is out because even with it being a drop third strike, there was not an open bag. So there's punch out number 1 for Palmer, and on the drop pitch, we see Chumo take 60 feet to go into scoring position. So Chumo at second and 1 down for Lauren Schwegas. Schwegas, the sophomore first baseman, digs in.
Give Emmy Bednar credit there for trying to throw to second and get that out there. And realizing that, they already had the out at first.
First pitch by Palmer, misses ball 1. As Bednar quickly sends it back to her sophomore pitcher. OLSH stranded 2 on last inning, had 1 runner thrown out at home. 2-0 Frazier leads, top of the second, 1 on, 1 out. The 1-0 by Nicole Palmer. Swing and a miss, count pulls even. Frazier, they noted their biggest concern and biggest issue they had, they thought, in the quarterfinals, besides some mental lapses, was the speed of that Seton LaSalle team they had to face to get here. Pitch by Palmer, swing and a miss, 1-2, blowing it past Lauren Schwegas. Nicole, of course, known more as a spin pitcher than the velocity, but found a way to pick up that velocity a little bit this year, which makes those spin pitches look all the more tougher to hit. 1-2, rise up high, count goes even. Runner at second, 1 out, 2-0 Frazier leads here in the top of inning number 2. And OLSH trying to get to the WPIAL title game. They haven't made it to the semifinals. First time since at least 2004. And strike 3 looking as Palmer paints the inside corner. Back-to-back Ks for the sophomore. And now it's up to Alyssa Mitten, the junior shortstop, in the most important spot in the softball lineup, according to my broadcast partner, Jose.
Yeah, I don't even need to tell you anymore. You just know.
Runner at second, 2 down. Palmer trying to strand another. Trying to keep it a 2-0 advantage for the Commodores. Swing and a miss, strike 1. We already saw Elizabeth Forward punch their ticket to the 4A title game this afternoon. 2-1. Final score on top of Burrell. Palmer gets the grip, the 0-1. Make it 0-2 as Palmer starting to spot her pitches. Runner at second, 2 outs. 0-2 count here on the 9-hole hitter, Alyssa Mitten. The 0-2 by Nicole Palmer, rise up high. The count goes 1-2. Back to second goes Ava Chumo. These two teams have not met since at least 2004 as well, as far as I can go back and find information. 1-2, swing and a miss. A leadoff single, and 3 straight retired via the strikeout by Nicole Palmer. No runs, another hit, no errors, and a third Charger left stranded. Through 1.5 here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Triple Live High School Sports Network. Your score, Frazier 2, OLSH nothing here in the 2A semifinals. One semifinal has been decided. Neshannock walked off Laurel in extra innings, as Frazier up by 2, trying to extend upon that lead here in the home half of the second inning. It's going to be Grayson Hartman, Nicole Palmer, Claire Damakis, 7, 8, 9 in the Commodore lineup. As Hartman, the third of the 3 straight Commodore freshmen, 3 of 4. Emma Cortina, the 4th freshman on this Commodore roster. If Nicole Palmer reaches, we will see Cortina come in to run. She's been a phenomenal courtesy runner for Palmer all season long.
Yeah, she's made some big plays out there on the base paths.
As digging in here is Grayson Hartman, the freshman. First pitch swinging in the air, out to left, ranging back, and that one bounces off the fences. Chumo can't get there. It's a leadoff 2-bagger for the freshman Grayson Hartman. As Hartman wastes no time, 1 pitch, and that one's out to the fence. Hartman struggled mightily to start this season. It's almost like she couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And now Grayson Hartman up over 300 as she's hot at the right times. Here comes Nicole Palmer looking to help her own cause, the sophomore pitcher. Giles, pitch to Palmer. First pitch, strike 1, Palmer, 289, 11 runs batted in for the sophomore. As Palmer digs back in, split time last year in between the circle and the outfield. It's thrown every single inning this year for the Commodores. Swing and a miss, now it's 0-2 on Palmer. Claire Damakis, another sophomore on deck. Leadoff double for Grayson Hartman. 0-2 count now to Nicole Palmer as Giles trying to work out of a leadoff base runner situation. Palmer stays alive, fouling that one off. Grayson Hartman at second. Nicole Palmer at the plate. Again, like every other starter, 9 out of the 10 girls that have seen action this year of the 10-girl roster as that one bounces for ball 1. But again, the 9 starters, all county, all of them.
Not too shabby.
When you're 17-0, makes a little bit of sense.
Hey, 1 through 9, I mean, this is such a dangerous lineup.
1-2, Palmer in the air, right side, ranging over is Walsh, and that one ricochets off to Giacomo and Walsh. Hartman into third, and on the error, the Commodores have runners at the corners with nobody out for Claire Demakis. We'll see who gets that one. I'm going to go off the game changer scoring for that error.
I think it was going to be on the center fielder. I think that's
very similar situation to what we saw Jensen do to the girl at the dish, Claire Demakis, in the last game. Runners at the corners, nobody out. As there's Emma Cortina at first running. As we've seen all year for Frazier, Cortina replacing Palmer on the base path.
Big opportunity here with Claire Demakis up to the plate.
Give that indeed, Jose, an E8. Runners at the corners, nobody out for Claire Demakis. 233, 9 runs batted in for the sophomore. As Demakis smacks it out. That one's caught. Hartman thought it was going to be a hit, and it's a double play. Poor base running for Frazier, as it's an F775. So now just Cortina at first with 2 down.
That's, I mean, you know, you have a 2-run lead, but that's not going to be something that Donnie Hartman's going to be very happy about.
That's not Donnie ball.
No. And you know, I maybe she was going off maybe the
yeah, that was crushed by Demakis, thinking maybe you're thinking, does Grayson think that's just a line drive through the left side, not hanging up enough for Chumo to get there as Jensen fouls it off.
Yeah, maybe going off the reaction of the Frazier faithful to our right and just assuming it was going to drop down.
And the thing is, it's not like it was 1 out, 2, where she didn't even have to tag there. You would have still had runners at the corners with 1 out for Jensen. As Jensen now down 1 and 2, 2 outs. Runner at first after a leadoff double, an E8, and then the F7 DP. Frazier up 2-0. Bottom second pitch to Jensen, a little roller out the third. Going to be a tough play, and Jensen an infield single.
Yeah, Hartman using her wheels there. Never really any routine play in the infield when Jensen Hartman is running down the line. Big reason why she's in that leadoff spot.
Oh, absolutely. You know, she has the numbers you'd love to, with that power, with the speed, the average, and still 16 RBI from that leadoff spot, but you'd love to move her maybe down a little bit. But she gets on base a ton, and, you know, Coach Hartman knows putting her there means she's going to get the most at-bats out of any single player in his lineup.
Yeah, and the 16 RBIs is a credit to, you know, what the girls at the bottom of the order have been able to do. You know,
absolutely.
Demakis and Palmer and Grayson Hartman, you know, getting on base and allowing Jensen to be a run producer out of the leadoff spot.
1-0 to Felcher. Felcher out the third, off the glove of O'Brien. There comes Cortina. She's in to score. Jensen rounding, and Jensen safe at third. That would have been interesting to see if they got her out, if they would have had interference. And I think that's what Coach Hartman's asking about here.
No, I think he was actually talking to Felcher. I don't know if he was.
I thought he gave a little point to the field umpire, but I could be wrong.
I think he was giving a point to Felcher, just giving her a,
heads up base running.
Yep.
But nonetheless, the third Commodore run of the game comes around to score in the form of Emma Cortina. Jensen to third, Frazier to second, and here's Tori Wyszynski as the conclave at the circle breaks. But I think Coach Hartman may have had a gripe if Jensen was thrown out, because I think if Jensen doesn't run into the pitcher Giles, she's headed for home.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought Coach Donnie Hartman might have had a bit of a gripe there, but I think, again, you're right, it could have been just pleasure with his base runner and Frazier.
Yeah, I think he was just giving her some props for, a nice at-bat and then being able to take second base. Now 2 runners in scoring position for the senior leader in Tori Wyszynski, who walked in her first AB.
See what Wyszynski can do. 2 in scoring position, 2 outs, 3-0 Frazier lead, and Wyszynski fouls it off. As the count pulls even on Tori Wyszynski, 2 on, 2 outs, 1-1 count on Wyszynski, 3-0 Frazier leads. As you mentioned, Tori walked. She was stranded at third back in inning number 1. The pitch by Giles. In there for strike 2 on Tori Wyszynski. Frazier at second, Hartman at third. 1-2 count on the senior Wyszynski. The Glenville State commit digs back in. 5 long balls, 26 runs batted in for Wyszynski. Chops at third base side. That one skitters foul down the third base line, and the count stays put on the senior. One and 2 on Tori Wyszynski. Frazier at second, Hartman at third. 3-0 Frazier leads. The 1-2. Wyszynski hammers it out to deep center, ranging. Back and under it is Walsh to end the inning. I think the wind might have knocked that down a little on Wyszynski, as the Commodores will plate one more run as they record just 2 hits in the inning. A pair of OLSH errors and 2 doors left stranded as the Commodores possibly ran themselves out of a big inning, but they do plate 1, and after 2 full, your score, Frazier 3, OLSH nothing, right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Are you looking for stress-free car shopping at its finest? Well, then Davies Ford of Charleroi is the place for you. Located 728 McKean Avenue, Davies Ford has something for everybody with a wide selection of models from Ford. So come let us get you in that new car today at Davies Ford of Charleroi.
To get the Ford you want only with the greatest of ease. Pull on down to Davies.
Something to change in scoring last inning. Give a hit instead of an error to Maria Frazier, which was able to bring home the run. So 3 hits in just 1 OLSH error last inning. As Palmer back to work here. First pitch, ball 1 as we're back up top. As here is Delaney Walsh. She retired Tori Wyszynski to end the last inning. Flew out to Claire DeMarcus as that one almost sailed over Claire's head back in inning number 1. 1 ball, no strikes, nobody on, nobody out. The pitch by Palmer. Evens up at 1-1, and the kind of consensus around the tents. Off the bat, everyone, I think, thought Tori's ball was leaving the yard, but the wind blowing in towards us knocked it down.
Yeah, I thought it was gone off the bat as well, but good thing for OLSH. It stays in the park, and they're now just facing a 3-run deficit instead of a 6-run deficit.
Yeah, that is huge.
I mean, this is a big inning for OLSH. I mean, you got to take advantage and try to get a run with the top of your order. I mean, 2, 3, 4 hitters each singled their last at-bats.
The 2-1 by Nicole Palmer, fouled off. Count goes even on the right-handed hitting senior center fielder Delaney Walsh. 3 straight Ks after a leadoff infield single in the second for Nicole Palmer. 2 swinging, 1 looking. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, nobody out, top third. Pitch by Palmer, that one's out to Wyszynski. Wyszynski to Warnick. In time, just retiring Delaney Walsh. As able to jam her up there was Nicole Palmer. Kaylee Fabiano, the senior second baseman, singled, was thrown out on the 8-1-2 putout after the single by Giles, and that was a missile to the center field fence.
Yeah, and she was caught at home plate in that first inning on that single by Giles.
One out, nobody on. The 0-1 by Palmer. Rise up high, count goes even, 1-1. Been an outstanding softball season, baseball season, nearing the end of the district level. 2A semifinals. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Frazier looking to become, if I'm not mistaken, the third Mon Valley team to make it.
Yeah, already have 2 locked in with Sarah baseball and Elizabeth Ford softball. 2-1 win over Burrell the first game of this doubleheader.
1-2 by Palmer in the air out the center. Jensen charges in and makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down as it's an F8 of Kaylee Fabiano. As, if I'm not mistaken, also 2 more made it to the semis and lost. I know South Allegheny, I did that game yesterday, almost came back. If it wasn't for maybe a base running lapse for the Gladiators, you hate to see that. Possibly would have been a huge inning. They ended up coming 1 run short of tying, and if I'm not mistaken, TJ as well made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson baseball makes it before falling to Peters Township, the top seed in 5A baseball.
Yeah, but talk about the run they went on.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson, a great run with a 14-7 win over Latrobe, and then a 1-0 gritty win against Chartiers Valley.
Pitch by Palmer, swing and a miss, 1-1, as Morgan O'Brien singled. So now 7 hits for O'Brien in her 3 playoff games. Again, she's driven in 12 from what I found. Just a sophomore. The 1-1. That one's lined out. Demakis puts the squeeze on it out and left. So 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left the board. And for the first time this afternoon, Nicole Palmer sets the Chargers down in order as the Commodores up by 3, looking to increase upon that advantage. It's going to be Warnick, Vaughn, and Bednar due up here in the middle, or in the bottom of inning number 3 as we've reached the middle of inning number 3. But first 1-2-3 inning for Nicole Palmer here this afternoon on a windy but beautiful day from Norwin High School, as that's the 60th time this year Nicole Palmer has set down a battery in order.
Yeah, and she's really settling in nicely since giving up that single to lead off the second inning. She's retired 6 straight. Now Frazier's offense will look to potentially add on to this 3-run lead with Delaney Warnick leading off.
Warnick, Vaughn, Bednar. Warnick and Vaughn, RBI groundouts, 4-3 and 3-4. You don't say that too often.
Nope.
Both plays were at first base as Delaney digs in. Giles toes the rubber. First pitch, Warnick. Bounces ball 1. Delaney Warnick steps back in. And multi-sport athlete, plays for Team PA softball. Glenville State commit is Warnick. The 1-0, Warnick chops at third, foul, and now it's an even 1-1 count to the junior. Frazier looking to get back to the WPIAL title for the first time since 2019. They were a team as the 1-1 to Warnick in there for 1-2 that in that 2020 season looked like a team that would be almost unbeatable at the district level, at least, and possibly the states as well.
Yeah, a ton of seniors on that team that fortunately wasn't able to play together in their final high school season.
Fouled off. You were adding Jensen into her first varsity season. Got to catch Logan's last game with the Mon Valley tournament put together.
Yeah, and it was tough. You know, they're coming off a state championship win, and they had aspirations of going all the way once again.
1-2, Warnick, left side. That one past the diving mitten, and it's going to be a leadoff base knock for Delaney Warnick. 3 innings, 3 straight leadoff hitters aboard for the Commodores. A walk to Jensen, a double by Grayson, and now a single by Delaney Warnick.
Yeah, Warnick, just everything she hits, is hard. I mean, whether she's driving the ball over the fence, driving into the gap, or just hitting a single to left field, hard hit balls off the bat of Delaney Warnick.
Pitch home. Vaughn takes strike 1. Warnick retreats to the first base bag. Grace a 3-4 retirement RBI, plating Maria Felcher back in the first. That gave Frazier a 2-0 lead at that point. As Cassidy Fabiano getting the signs from the OLSH bench. As that's in there, strike 2 on Vaughn. Again, like Grayson Hartman did, Grace Vaughn broke on as a volleyball player, great complimentary outside hitter for Frazier. It was their best server this year, that knuckle serve. As the 0-2 to Vaughn. And a beauty of a pitch. Warnick goes, and she's in safely at second. As Mitten saying, I got the ball, I'm on the bag, but it wasn't a force. So Warnick takes second on the strikeout of Grace Vaughn. But going back to that point I was making, I know Vaughn just retired, but something Coach Mandy Hartman and I always would talk about was her serving. And she said, I never knew what it was, and then I went and stood on the opposite side. She said, that ball just does not stop moving. And, it's great to see these freshmen, including the one at the dish now, Emmy Bednar, having success in their first season. They're just going to keep getting better. First pitch, strike 1 to Emmy Bednar. Runner at second is Delaney Warnick. 1 out, Bednar at the dish. Grounded out to Mitten to end inning number 1. The catcher up over 400. That one hits square on home plate. Great job by Cassidy Fabiano to find the ball.
Yeah, played that one off the hop and kept Warnick from getting over to third.
And Fabiano had a good laugh with our home plate umpire.
Very strange. I haven't seen that.
The 1-1. Outer third, not much Bednar could have done with that. Kind of see her shrug her shoulders over at her head coach, Donnie Hartman.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the pitcher for making a nice pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out, the 1-2 home, and the count evens up on Emmy Bednar. The thought with Bednar coming into this season, going to catch a lot of Madison Bednar. They had the chemistry sisters. Of course, Madison hasn't got to throw an inning or play an inning this year, and Emmy's caught a lot of Nicole Palmer. As another ball in the turf, throw down, 2-3 housekeeping, and on the throw, Delaney Warnick advances to third. So back-to-back strikeouts here by Giles, 2-3 retirement of Bednar as well, as those are the first 2 punch-outs of the game by Justina Giles.
Yeah, but a big opportunity here with Grayson Hartman, 2 outs. Lined a double on the first pitch she saw from Giles in the left field.
Trying to make up for that base-running blunder.
Yeah, nice repeat of history from that first or second inning. Would drive in the 4th run for the Commodores.
First pitch, strike to Grayson Hartman. Hartman, again, as I mentioned, setter for her sister on the volleyball team. As a little roller to third, up with it O'Brien across the diamond, in time to get Grayson Hartman and keep the Commodores off the board for the first time today on the 5-3 putout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. Delaney Warnick left stranded. We've played 3 full here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Triple Live High School Sports Network. And your score, the Commodores 3, the Chargers 0.
Hey, Jim Shorkey here. Just a reminder, if you haven't signed up for the Goal Achiever Challenge yet, please do right now. Don't procrastinate. Jump right on this. Just do it. Get it done. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So make sure you sign up for the Goal Achiever Challenge and check out Jim Shorkey's Pragmatist podcast. To check out that podcast and for more information, visit resultsfromthinking.com.
3 in the books, and it's a 3-0 Frazier lead over the Chargers from OLSH. As Nicole Palmer back to work, as she will face 7-8-9 to Giacomo, Schwegas, Minton, And last time those three were up, it was strikeout, strikeout, and strikeout. Actually make this Giles leading off. First pitch swinging, sends it in the air. Out to right. Frazier in, and she makes the diving catch. Maria Frazier on the run. One up, one down on the F9 as the junior gets dirty. Out and right, robbing Giles of a leadoff single. And it actually, as I was getting to the heart of the order, it's 4, 5, and 6. As here comes Cassidy Fabiano, grounded out to Wyszynski to end the first. First pitch fouled off the backstop. No balls, one strike, one out, nobody on. Palmer gets the sign she likes from Emmy Bednar. Now time called and granted. 3-0 Frazier leads here. Top 4, one out, nobody on. Pitch home by Palmer. Grounded up the middle. That one gets out to Hartman. It's a 1-out single by Cassidy Fabiano. As she's now 1 for 2, and she'll bring up Chumo, who is 1 for 1.
Yeah, first hit for OLSH since that leadoff single by Chumo in the second. Palmer had retired 7 in a row prior to that single by Fabiano.
Infield single stranded at second in the second. First pitch, ball 1 by Nicole Palmer. Runner at first, 1 out, 3-0 Frazier leads. Pitch home by Nicole Palmer. And that one misses to Ava Chumo, the freshman, as well. Two and 0 the count on Chumo. 1 out, 1 on. Both coaches just confirming the count. First Donnie Hartman, then Coach Dave Quinn out at third. It is 2-0 on Ava Chumo, 1 on, 1 out. Nicole Palmer, the 2-0. Make it 2-1 as Palmer works back. Frazier won their second straight section this year, or section championship this year. A lot of section titles for the Commodores since 2013. The 2-1. Make it 2-2 as Palmer pulls even. You know, very appreciative. I know the WPIAL didn't actually do this for us, but very appreciative they put our two teams at the same location for today.
It's worked out for us a few times here in the playoffs.
2-2 other way, tailing foul, and it gets foul.
And we had a doubleheader with Yock and Bell Vernon at Plum a few weeks ago.
We also had Burrow and Bell Vernon, EF West Mifflin here.
Yeah, so we've gotten pretty lucky here the last couple weeks.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. Nicole Palmer gets the grip she likes, rocks and deals, 2-2, fouled off the backstop.
Yeah, both of our trips, well, you went to West Mifflin yesterday. Both of my trips here this week have been here at Norwin High School.
Yeah, I was at, Plum, West Mifflin, and now to Norwin. I've also been at Shaler and Latrobe. The 2-2. Grounded third, fair ball. Vaughn across to Warnick with the stretch, they get her. Great play by the freshman Grace Vaughn. And, you know, that was a ball that good chance it was going foul, but Vaughn was aware of all, saying, I can get the out at first, I'm going to take it. And plays like that is why Coach Johnny Hartman says the girl who is a natural shortstop in the apparent heir to Tori Wyszynski might stay at third base next year.
Yeah, and it's a lot of faith that you can show in a freshman to make that type of play. I mean, any freshman in that type of situation might try to rush something and try to throw to get the lead runner at second, but she was composed, made a nice throw, and was able to get the second out of the inning.
2 outs, a runner at second in the form of Cassidy Fabiano. As DiGiacomo takes out her third, as it evens up at 1-1, and it was a hefty lead out at second by the senior catcher. DiGiacomo, struck out first time through against the right-hander Nicole Palmer. 2 outs, 1 on. The 1-1 by Palmer. Chop back off the glove of Palmer, and Palmer can't get it back in time as run comes home, and it's airmailed by Warnick under the tag. Sliding safe is Fabiano, as OLSH cuts the lead down to 2. As a bang-bang play, as you be the judge, I went back to look, and I think that's one you can't complain whatever was called. It was so close either way.
Yeah.
If they called her out, I didn't think you could have a gripe. If they call her safe, I don't think you could have a gripe either.
I think there should be runners on the corners right now with 2 outs instead of a run scoring. I mean, I think you field that ball and you just eat it. You don't throw it to first and you just hold that runner in third. But nice heads-up base running there by Cassidy Fabiano to come in and score on that infield single by DiGiacomo.
Yeah, and you got to think if Palmer is able to stab it cleanly, that's the end of the inning.
Yeah. I mean, hard play to make there.
Oh, absolutely.
But just looking at the facial expressions of this Frazier team, and they just met in the pitching circle, I think they're still focused. They're not going to let that bother them.
Swing and a miss, strike one. According to Mandy Hartman, who's running their score, she said Nicole should make that play on any given time. They gave her an error.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with that. That's an error and an unearned run against Palmer. The 0-1. Fouled off. 0-2. As I can actually very much understand that. It was in her glove. It wasn't super hard hit like we saw at Plum when it took off the glove of the one pitcher.
Yeah, I think in those types of situations, I mean, the ball's kind of taking you a certain way, and, I mean, there's no real guarantee that you're even going to make that throw to first.
Palmer bounces back, striking out Schweigis. 4th strikeout of the game for Palmer. 1 run comes in to score, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 Charger left stranded. We've played 3.5 here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason. Your score, the Frazier Commodores 3, the Chargers on the board. They got 1, as Frazier will look to get that run right back here in the home half of inning number 4. Palmer, Demakis, and Jensen Hartman due up here in the home half of the 4th inning. As Giles back to work. Going through her warm-up tosses. We get an up-close and personal view there with Cassidy Fabiano. Can't give you the perfect view today, but we're doing our best. The windscreen prevents a direct home plate camera, but hey.
I happen to like the windscreen.
Is it because there's a big N on it for Norwin?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you like what's right behind the pitching circle?
Oh, I love it. It's a great facility, man.
No, it is.
If I were a prospective student, I'd definitely want to go to school here, Great stadium.
Are you saying they're recruiting here, Jose?
No. I said prospective student, Alex.
Here in the bottom of the 4th, 3-1 Frazier leads. Swing and a miss, strike 1 on a pitch very low as Nicole Palmer goes fishing and no bite. As the floor fell out beneath that one. Pitch by Giles, and fishing again goes Palmer on a low breaking ball by Giles. See if Palmer gets the same thing from Giles. If I was her, I'd probably go right back to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's working.
Zed goes with the rise on the outside for ball one. Nobody on, nobody out. Frazier's got the leadoff hitter on every inning, and that will end now. As it's 1-3, Giles to Schwegas. Here comes Claire DeMakis. DeMakis lined out hard to the left fielder Chumo and ended up being part of a F7-7-5 double play on the base running error by the Commodores' second baseman.
Yeah, not what you see every day.
And that one through the left side. It's a one-out single by Claire DeMakis, sneaking under the glove of O'Brien.
Another hard hit ball by DeMakis in that number 9 spot now.
What spot was that, Jose?
The number 9 spot. Now turn the order over to Jensen Hartman, and that's why having somebody that you can rely on in that spot in the order is so crucial. Being able to turn this over to Hartman, Felcher, and Wyshynski.
Jensen Hartman digs in. On base twice today. Pitch to Jensen. Bounces off home over the catcher of Fabiano. In the second goes Claire DeMakis. On the wild pitch. That's very similar to what we saw happen last inning. But that time just enough on it that it shot it up over the catcher Fabiano. So runner in scoring position now for Jensen Hartman. As DeMakis at second, one out for the junior backstop. As it pulls even on Hartman with that one by Giles. Jensen, first team all-section in volleyball the last 2 years. Same with All-State the last 2 years and All-WPIAL first team the last 2 years. Says that's the dream. That's what she wants to do at the next level. Ground ball, O'Brien at third. DeMakis takes off after the throw, and she's in safely at third on the Hartman 5-3 ground out.
Yeah, some nice patience there by DeMakis to wait out that throw, make it over into third base for Maria Felcher, who is 2 for 2 with an RBI and a double in this one.
Maria digs in. Runner at third. Take a 2-out base knocker, at least a 2-out base runner. As Felcher takes inside, shuffling back out of the way of that one for ball one. Felcher, pretty quick runner down the line as well. The 1-0. As Justina Giles misses with that one, 2-0. On deck, Tori Wyshynski walked and then drove one into the wind, which knocked it down out to Walsh in inning number 2. DeMakis at third, 2 outs, 3-1. Frazier leads, bottom 4. Pitch home. Slow roller. O'Brien up with it across the diamond, off the glove of Schwegas. And it's an E3, putting Felcher at second, and DeMakis and the Commodores retake a 3-run advantage.
Yeah, that's a incredibly costly mistake there for OLSH. Now back into a 3-run deficit when should have been out of this inning.
And that brings up Tori Wyshynski, the ever-dangerous senior. Yeah, and Wyshynski got about all of it, but a lot of wind knocked it down last trip to the plate. That kept it 3-0 instead of possibly making it a 6-0 game, as we'll see the Chargers take a trip from the third base dugout to the pitching circle to talk to Giles about this situation. And, you know, here's a really interesting thing. We talk about deep teams, why it's important. How easy could it be when you get a girl like Tori Wyshynski up over 5 home runs, 26 runs batted in just under 400, and an open first base? Okay, take the first base bag. We saw that with Metakosh a lot this year. We've seen that a lot. We saw that a lot with Zach Black in the semifinal game for Sarah Catholic with Nico Aramick going down with an injury. But you do that to Wyshynski, you have someone just as good, if not maybe a better bat, or at least a very similar style bat in the form of Delaney Warnick. I mean, both excellent hitters.
Yeah, it's the benefit of having a a good lineup 1 through 9. I mean, it's kind of pick your poison. So
they will choose to pitch here to Wyshynski.
yeah, tough position for Olsh to be in. I mean, you know, Giles was so close to keeping a runner stranded on third base for the second straight inning.
Worst case scenario, Frazier's at least got that run back, and Wyshynski gulfs it foul down the third base line. Just out in front of that one. Straighten it out, and that one's still traveling. That would head down to the elementary school.
That was ripped. I mean, by the time I looked back to see it sail over the dugout, it was almost out of sight.
No balls, 1 strike. Frazier at second with 2 down. 4-1. Frazier leads bottom 4. Pitch to Wyshynski. Wyshynski lines it over the head of the shortstop mitten. Here comes Frazier. She will score. Wyshynski into second safely. It's an RBI 2-out base knock for the senior. And it's 5-1 Commodores here in the 4th.
Great piece of hitting by Tori Wyshynski. Nice RBI double. Now Delaney Warnick, another opportunity. The runner on, and they're going to put Delaney Warnick on.
And no surprise with that one with the open base.
Well, just like you said, Alex, they gave her the Marin Medikosh, Zach Black treatment there. And elect to face Grace Vaughn, who is 0 for 2 with an RBI here today.
You know, we start with the Barry Bonds treatment. I think what we really need to go to, it's the Mark Black treatment.
It is the Mark Black treatment.
The Mark Black treatment.
I don't think I've seen since, you know, I've begun, since I have been covering high school sports, I don't think I've seen a high school hitter walk that many times.
O'Brien across in time, barely getting Grace Vaughn on the 5-3 putout. Frazier strikes for 2 more. They do it on 2 hits, an error in the inning, and Frazier strands a pair. But we've played 4 full here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. It's Frazier 5, OLSH 1, as Palmer back to work for the Commodores when we come back.
Are you looking for stress-free car shopping at its finest? Well, then Davies Ford of Charleroi is the place for you. Located 728 McKean Avenue, Davies Ford has something for everybody with a wide selection of models from Ford. So come let us get you in that new car today at Davies Ford of Charleroi.
To get the Ford you want only, with the greatest of ease. Pull on down to Davies.
4 innings in the books. It's a 5-1 Frazier lead here in the top of the 5th inning. Winner gets number 1 Neshannock in the 2A title game. If it is Frazier and Neshannock, it will be a battle of the unbeatens. Loser gets the 5 seed in Laurel. That will be in the 3rd place game. Both teams will make it into the state playoffs out of that. But winner gets number 1 Neshannock. Frazier up 5-1, but I think we have to go back to inning number 1 and talk about the play. Kaylee Fabiano rounding third after a single by Giles deep to center field. Hartman got it into Palmer, off to Bednar to keep it scoreless at that time. And that allowed Frazier's bats to come to life. And now they're up 5-1, 1 unearned run against Palmer. Strike 1 in there to the 9-hole hitter, Alyssa Mitten.
Yeah, and that would have been an opportunity for maybe Olsh to add more than just 1 run.
That looked like the possibility of a huge inning to start. 0-1, fouled off, make it 0-2 on Mitten. The 9-hole hitter struck out swinging against Palmer. Nicole has struck out just 4 batters today. Nobody on, nobody out. The 0-2 by Palmer after she gets the grip she likes. Pitch home. Check swing, and Nicole Palmer sits down Mitten looking. 2nd K of Mitten today, 5th of the game for the sophomore. As the order turned back up top to Delaney Walsh. Fly out to Damakis, ground out to Wyshynski. One out, nobody on. Palmer gets the feel, rocks and fires, bunt shown. And fouled off the left shin guard of Emmy Bednar. As Amelia had that one shoot off the left leg and up the line.
Are you
Palmer gets the sign from Bednar. The 0-1. That one's out deep and ranging back to make the catch is Claire DeMarcus. As Jensen Hartman comes running over from center to give the left fielder some love.
Great job at DeMarcus, and that goes back to what Jeremy Salou said to us the other day, or yesterday rather, on the Valley Sports Guys podcast. He hasn't seen DeMarcus drop a ball. I mean, she has been so reliable out there in left field.
And that might be a take that, Jensen. I can handle it myself after what happened in that last game.
Maybe she heard some footsteps because Jensen was coming toward her, but it was to congratulate her instead.
Other way towards the gap, long run, and that one bounces off the base of the fence for Fabiano. She's chugging for third as the throw comes in, and a great job by Palmer backing up the line, as that's going to be a 2-out triple for Kaylee Fabiano deep to the right center gap. So runner at third with 2 down for OLSH. Here's Morgan O'Brien, 1 for 2 with a single. Been the best hitter in this Charger lineup this postseason. 5-1 Frazier lead, top 5. Palmer trying to keep it there. Pitch by Nicole Palmer. That one misses, ball 1 as it pops in and out of the glove of Emmy Bednar. And going back, that catch by DeMarcus looks even bigger now.
Yeah, I mean, that saved a run there.
O'Brien awaits the 1-0 by Palmer, swing and a miss. As the count goes even, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 on, and 2 away here in the top of the 5th. 5-1 lead Frazier, the 2 seed over number 6 OLSH. Winner gets number 1 the Shannick in the 2A title game. The 1-1 by Nicole Palmer in the air, right side. There's Maria Fosher under it to end the inning on the F9. So the 2-out triple does not come back to bite the Commodores. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And the 5th Charger of the game left stranded. We've played 4.5. Frazier up 5-1, looking to add some more insurance here in the home half of the 5th inning. To all of our viewers and listeners out there on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Just a reminder that this game and the broadcast rights to this game are the sole and exclusive property of the WPIAL and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Any broadcast of this game is intended exclusively for the benefit of the viewing and listening audience, and any use, rebroadcast, or redistribution of this broadcast without the express written consent from the WPIAL and Trib Total Media is strictly prohibited. Bottom 5, 5-1. The Commodores lead the Chargers from OLSH. It's an important sequence here for Justina Giles. Has to find a way to put a 0 up. As Emmy Bednar digs in, nobody on, nobody out. Bottom 5, 5-1, Frazier leads. Pitch by Justina Giles, fouled off the backstop, strike 1 to Emmy Bednar. Four Commodore freshmen on this team, 3 in the starting lineup. The 4th is a courtesy runner for Palmer. Bednar leads the way in average out of them. As pulling the strings and freezing Bednar there was Giles, as it's 0-2 now. The 0-2. Bednar the other way out to right, and that one past the diving to Giacomo, and Bednar's on the move. She rounds second. She's digging for 3. Hartman holds her up there. It's a leadoff 3-bagger for Emmy Bednar.
Great piece of hitting by Emmy Bednar. She goes the other way. Benefits from that dive from DiGiacomo, and now a leadoff triple puts runner 60 feet away for Grayson Hartman.
Grayson 1 for 2, a double. Made an out on the base path, also grounded out. Trying to help make up for that here, increase the Commodore lead. First pitch ball. Gets away on the throw back, and here comes Bednar. As an error brings home Bednar. It's 6-1 Frazier on the airmail E2. So base is empty, nobody out, 1 run in, and Hartman skies it up on the left side. Under it is Mitten, and Mitten puts the squeeze on it for out number 1, retiring Grayson Hartman. As digging in now will be Nicole Palmer. Up 6-1 here in this game, bottom 5.
That's one of your home runs in an elevator shaft, Alex?
It is. We had that in game number 1, too, and that was the one that almost took off the head of Mike Darnay back behind home plate. First pitch to Palmer, ball 1. I don't think we've seen a left-handed hitter in either game today. I just started thinking about that.
I don't think we have either.
Right-handed heavy-hitting orders rise, misses 2-0. Again, congratulations to the Mon Valley's own Elizabeth Ford Warriors. 2-1 victors over Burrow, punching their ticket into the 4A title game. They'll face the Beaver team featuring the star Peyton List. As that one inside off the protecting padding of Fabian. And it's 3-0 now on Nicole Palmer. Peyton List and Beaver ended the season of EF last year. That was in the state playoffs, but EF back to the WPIAO title game after missing it last year. They won it in 2019. Frazier missed it last year. They were there in 2019 as well, trying to get back, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Nicole Palmer. And here comes Emma Cortina on to run at first. That's the only girl left on the roster for Frazier that is eligible to come in is Emma Cortina.
Yeah, she's taken on that role and has really excelled. I mean, that's the thing with this Frazier team is everybody kind of knows their role and everybody really embraces it, whether it's defensively or offensively in the circle. I mean, that's what's made Frazier so good this whole season.
First pitch ball, including the third run of the game, which Cortina has scored. She has scored 15 runs this year as a courtesy runner. That's doing your job very well. Here's the 9-hole hitter, Claire DeMakis. Hard fly out and a hard single through the left side last time up. DeMakis lines it through the left side again as Claire DeMakis continues to hit out of the 9-hole. 2 singles today for the sophomore. And now there's 2 on with 1 down for Jensen Hartman. 6-1 Commodore lead here in the 5th. Frazier looking to really break it open. Jensen has the possibility to do so. Multi-sport star for Frazier. Got the opportunity now to play with both of her sisters. Technically never got to play with Logan at the high school level, but did in some manner with that tournament, the senior swing. The 1-0. And it's now 2-0 as Jensen in a hitter's count here on deck. Doesn't get easier with Frazier and Wyszynski following Jensen. Hartman 1 out, 1 in, 2 on. 6-1 Frazier leads OLSH. Winner gets number 1, the Shannock. The 2-0 to Jensen Hartman, and Hartman holds back in there for a strike on the inner third. 2-1 to the junior center fielder. The 2-1. Misses 3-1.
And danger of Loading the bases for Felsher, who is 2 for 3 today.
Been on base all 3 times, scored 2 runs as well. 3-1, Hartman, the green light out deep to left center, and under that one making the grab is Chumo. Advancing to third is DeMarcus on the second, or excuse me, Cortina on the second goes DeMarcus. So an F7 advances 2 runners up 60 feet, and now it's going to take another 2-out hit for Maria Felsher.
Yeah, maybe the wind once again keeping that one in the park. Seen that a couple of times. This is a very power-hitting Frazier lineup, and in that regard, they've kind of been held at bay by the wind here today.
And I thought we were going to see that in the first game, a lot of hard hit balls to the outfield, and we didn't as well.
Yeah, it was just dominant pitching with Katie Armstrong and Shelby Talegdi from Elizabeth Ford. I mean, Armstrong coming off a 21 strikeout performance against Belle Vernon the other day.
Yeah, that was an 11 innings, 1-0 victory for Burrell. She struck out 11 today. 2 on, 2 outs, 6-1 the Commodores lead. Bottom 5 pitch to Maria Felsher. Felsher, a little looper out the shallow center. That drops down. Cortina scores. Here comes DeMarcus. And it gets away from the catcher, and Felsher's going to advance to third. As Maria Felsher with 2 outs does it again. And it's an 8-1 Frazier lead here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I'm going to give her I don't know if it's going to be the same on Game Changer, but 2-run double there for Maria Felsher. She goes to third on the throw.
Nonetheless, definitely 2 RBI for Felsher. Driving runs in. That's what Maria has helped do. She scored a couple as well. Now Wyszynski will look to bring her in. Pitch to Tori up high, ball 1. Wyszynski. Walk, fly out, and a double and an RBI. RBI, 2-run single, and a 2-base error, they say.
Okay.
On the throw over the head of the catcher. So it's actually a 1-base error. So she advanced to second on the throw home, trying to get out Claire DeMarcus, and then getting up over the head of the catcher allowed her to advance 60 more feet. As now it's 3-0 on Tori Wyszynski. Felsher at third, 2 outs. It was a 5-1 Frazier lead entering the bottom of the 5th. Now it's 8-1 Commodores. 3-0 count on Tori Wyszynski. The pitch home by Justina Giles. And there's ball 4. Second free pass issue to the senior Wyszynski. Runners at the corners with 2 down for Delaney Warnick. 1 for 2. Single, an RBI ground out, and a walk. It was an intentional walk to Warnick. We can hear down from the third base coaching box, patience. The advice by head coach Donnie Hartman. Ball 1 to Warnick.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a message to send in a situation like this where you're kind of determined and you want to drive in that run, but got to have a patient approach.
Pitch to Warnick, outer third, strike, and Wyszynski takes second, and the count pulls even, and now the question is, do they decide to just put her on like they did previous time?
Well, I feel like we probably would have done that regardless. I mean, I don't think Wyszynski going up to second makes much of a difference.
1-1, make it 2-1, as reaching the triple-digit plateau of pitches is Justina Giles. 8-1 Frazier leads, bottom 5. Winner gets number 1, the Shanikin, the 2A title game. The 2-1, fouled off by Warnick as the count goes even on Delaney. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. It's an 8-1 Commodore lead, bottom 5. Felsher at third, Wyszynski at second. Pitch by Giles, floats high to fill things up on Warnick. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 outs. 3 runs in this inning for the Commodores. They're up by 7. The payoff pitch by Giles. Warnick the other way, and that one tails foul down the first base line as the count stays full on Warnick. Warnick very good at going the other way, as tried to do there on that full count pitch. Another payoff pitch by Justina Giles. Warnick fouls it off again. Staying alive is the junior.
Yeah, Giles doing a nice job of changing speeds there and trying to slow things down on Warnick. It's a little early on it.
2 on, 2 out, 3-2 count to Warnick. Giles toes the rubber. The payoff pitch once again. Warnick fouls it off once again as that one gets out of play down the right field line.
Into the pit of terror, I guess you can say, here in Norwin, the right field. And if it goes out of play, it's not coming back. You're not getting it back.
Well, it might slide down to that playground.
You might find it in
us.
a few years.
Payoff pitch to Warnick the other way, sending the right fielder back, and that one off the base of the fence. Frazier, Wyszynski scores. There goes Warnick chugging for 3, and it's a 2-out, 2-run triple by Delaney Warnick. And the Commodores now not just a runaway from extending the lead, a runaway from winning it.
Yeah, well, we'll put the 10-run rule into effect if Grace Vaughn is able to drive in that run with 2 outs here in the 5th. So big AB here for the freshman Vaughn, who is 0 for 3 with an RBI on the ground out in the first inning.
Jose, that is now the second triple this inning by the Commodores, and one started it way back ago for Emmy Bednar and Frazier. And they've rolled here this inning. 9th batter to come to the plate. A 2-out knock away from a Commodore victory and a chance to take on the Lancers from Neshannock. Ball 1 on Vaughn. Frazier, 1 run away from going home early. Giles on the rubber. The 1-0 by Justina Giles bounces, blocked by the catcher Cassidy Fabiano. As Grace Vaughn digs back in. Coach says she's just a natural athlete. Looks to drive in the winning run. As working back there is Giles. 2 balls, 1 strike. Warnick at third, 2 down. Frazier has doubled their run total this inning from 5 to 10. The 2-1 by Giles, and that one misses. 3-1 on Vaughn. And if Vaughn reaches, we will see the 10th Commodore come to bat this inning in the form of Bednar. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, winning run at third. Vaughn digs in against Justina Giles. Commodores 1 run away from the championship game as a hefty cut and a miss there by Grace Vaughn. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, winning run 60 feet away. Justina Giles trying to keep the Chargers around. Payoff pitch. Struck out. Vaughn looking to end the inning, but Frazier, they pound 5 runs across the plate. They do it on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. There was a pair of walks in the inning, an error as well. A pair of errors as well, and 1 left stranded. But Frazier 9 to the plate, 5 come in to score. A 5-1 lead, make it 10-1. And Frazier in favor of the Frazier Commodores, as Nicole Palmer will look to keep things where they're at and keep it a 9-run Commodore lead as we head to inning number 6. As everything stays the same for Coach Donnie Hartman and the Frazier Commodores. 5th straight semifinal appearance, looking for their 4th WPIAL championship appearance in 5 seasons. Last 2 ones were against Laurel. If they hang on, it will be Neshannock, who has beat Laurel 3 times this year. Extra innings, 1-0 walk-off today. And I'm sure Coach Hartman's just glad it's anybody but Laurel.
Yeah, I think he's just glad to potentially be going to a Whitfield championship.
That as well.
I don't think he really cares who he's going to face. You know, he's going to focus on what his team does, and that's it.
It will be a battle of the unbeatens if the Commodores hang on. Neshannock and Frazier, the 2 undefeated teams in 2A. As there's strike 1 by Palmer to the leadoff hitter this inning. That is Justina Giles. A single and a great diving grab to lead off the 4th by Maria Felscher out and right. 0-1. That one misses. As it's now 1-1 on Justina Giles, the junior pitcher. Again, singled, stranded at second, back in the first. She hammered that ball out to the center field fence. The 1-1 by Nicole Palmer. Saw the spin on that one as it spins up and out of the zone for ball number 2 on Justina Giles. Nobody on, nobody out. 10-1, Commodores lead here in the 6th. Palmer digs in, gets the sign from Emmy Bednar. The 2-1 from Palmer to Giles. Rise up high, 3-1. Doesn't matter how they come. The Chargers need base runners any way they can get them, and a leadoff free pass to Giles would be a great start if you're OLSH.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with Cassidy Fabiano and Ava up, both of them with hits here today.
3-1 by Palmer. Check swing, and that one misses. Ball 4, and Palmer, I don't think, could believe it. I don't know if she was upset about the spotter saying no swing. But Glenn Hart makes the call, and his judgment is final.
Yeah, it did appear that she at least held up on the swing.
Here comes Cassidy Fabiano, singled and scored back in the 4th. 1 on and nobody out, swinging a miss, strike 1. I think if you're Nicole Palmer, definitely the message after that first AB to Giles, if there was any, which we didn't see Hartman come out, but I'm sure there's some yelling. Just challenge. You're up by 9. You know,
yeah, just throw strikes.
Pound the zone, see what happens. The 0-1 from Nicole Palmer in her 3rd. Make it 0-2. And a very emphatic Cassidy Fabiano read her lips saying, "What? Cannot believe it." As the senior catcher, one of the 2 Fabiano twins on this team. The 0-2. Rise up high, no chase for Fabiano. The pitch to Fabiano. That one in the air. Left side. DeMarcus ranging back towards the wall. Claire makes the catch once again. Gets it into Vaughn. And it's a 1-out deep fly out by Cassidy Fabiano. You know, we've seen that multiple times. Balls blow out that look like they're going to leave the yard. That's probably the 4th one I thought had a good shot at getting out of the yard and just did not. Maybe even the 5th.
Yeah, we've seen that happen quite a few times. I know one to Wyszynski, and I think Jensen Hartman hit one to deep left that we thought might have a chance, but
1 on, 1 out, 10-1, Frazier leads. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 on Ava Chumo. An infield single, stranded at second in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th. Oh, 1 foul off, 0-2. Frazier up 10-1 here. Top of the 6th inning. Trying to create the 2nd of what would be 2 Mon Valley Lawrence County softball championship matchups as Palmer gets a punch out. 6th strikeout of the game for Nicole Palmer. As here's Grace DiGiacomo. Reached on an E1 by Palmer, which brought home Grace Fabiano. Two outs, 1 on. Pitch home by Palmer, misses ball 1 to DiGiacomo. Saw DiGiacomo have one get under her glove last inning, resulting in a Commodore 3-bagger. Frazier up 10-1 here. Top 6. Trying to just finish this thing off and punch their ticket to a date with Neshannock on June 2nd at Cal U. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Pitch home by Nicole Palmer. In the air, right side, fouled off. As it's now 2-1 on Grace DiGiacomo. The junior right fielder 0 for 2, reached on an error, struck out in her first AB. Palmer hasn't had a ton of strikeouts, just 6, but she hasn't needed them today. You know, I kind of thought very similar to how we saw Shelby Telegny pitch. Got strikeouts in situations that she needed them, but didn't need them that often.
Yeah, and she trusted her defense, and that's exactly what Palmer has been able to do today. I mean, you know, it's been a pretty clean ball game here for Frazier, aside from the 1 error.
The 3-1 by Nicole Palmer, bounces, gets away from Bednar to the near side. As on the first goes DiGiacomo on the free pass. As Bednar able to keep everybody else at bay. Is advancing to second is Giles. So Giles at second, DiGiacomo at first. 2 on, 2 down for Lauren Schwegas. Strikeout looking, strikeout swinging, 2 of the 6 Nicole Palmer has issued today. Meeting in the circle. Palmer doing most of the talking out there, the sophomore pitcher. Conclave breaks at the circle. Back to softball we go here in the top of the 6th. 10-1 Frazier leads here in the 2A semifinal. Winner gets number 1 Neshannock at Cal U for the 2A title. Be Frazier's 4th trip to the big dance in 5 years. They're looking to win their 2nd. One back in 2017. 3-1. Or, excuse me, there's strike 1 on the first pitch to Schwegas. Count was still up from the last one. Just caught my eye. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. 2 on, 10-1 Doors lead here, top 6. The 0-1 fouled off, now it's 0-2. On the right-handed hitting sophomore first baseman Schwegas. Palmer toes the rubber, gets the grip she likes. Time granted surprisingly, and Palmer seems frustrated. She was mid-motion, and Emmy Bednar, the freshman, can't get a good camera view of it, which is kind of going up and down with the hand saying, calm down, you're fine. As now the 0-2 by Palmer. Struck her out looking. The hat trick of Schwegas by Nicole Palmer. 3 times up, 3 strikeouts. 7 in the game for Nicole Palmer. And Frazier will be 1 run away from victory in the bottom of the 6th once again. As no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 walks, and 2 Chargers left the board. Frazier will look to end it, as it will be Bednar, Hartman, and Palmer due up for the 2nd straight inning to start for the Frazier Commodores. Frazier, 1 run or 3 outs without giving up 9 runs away from a WPIAL championship appearance. Whatever one comes first, we shall see.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd
hope it's the run, I think.
I'm sure they'd like to just get a run here, but
they've scored runs in 4 of the 5 innings today. Haven't went down cleanly at all. Third was the only one they did not score, and it started with a leadoff single by Warnick before back-to-back strikeouts and then a ground out. As Coach Donnie Hartman hoping this is the final time. He'll have to be down no matter what, even if they don't score a run. As he can start to feel getting back to that championship game.
Yeah, 11 hits today for the Commodores, and Emmy Bednar has one of them. Hit a triple and later scored on a error in the 5th inning.
Emmy Bednar digs in. The 1-0. There's a strike on the outer third to Bednar. Can always be somebody else for Frazier, someone different every single day in this offensive lineup as Bednar grounds to third. O'Brien up with it across in time to Schwegas, 1 up, 1 down. As is a 5-3 retirement of Bednar. You know, we've seen it was Wyszynski in round 1. It was Jensen in round 2. Well, it's Maria Felsher today. 3 for 4, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 RBI. And now it's Grayson Hartman. She's 1 for 3 at the dish. Ringing double, and there's a sky up right side off the glove in foul territory of Fabiano. And Grayson gets new life. You hear it from the Commodore bench that you got lucky there, and Grayson did. See if she can take advantage of it.
Yeah, she has a smile on her face. I think she knows that she has another opportunity here to get something going here with 1 out.
Grayson digs back in, the freshman second baseman. 1 out, nobody on, the 0-1. Make it 1-1 as that one sails outside on Justina Giles. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the fourth, and 5 in the fifth for the Frazier Commodores, 1 in the fourth for the Our Lady of Sacred Heart Chargers. The 1-1 to Grayson Hartman. Hartman holds back, make it 2-1. Frazier just trying to finish this thing off here in the 6th. Punch their ticket and set their date with Neshannock. As it's now 3-1 on Grayson Hartman. 3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom 6, Hartman digs in. The pitch by Giles to Grayson. Grayson chopper, O'Brien eats her up a little bit, throw across. They won't get Grayson. The winning run on board once again. An E5 on the sophomore. Puts Hartman at first with 1 out for Nicole Palmer. Reached on an error. Cortina came around to score. And then Cortina came on after the walk and scored.
And on deck is another one of Frazier's top hitters today, and Claire DeMoncas, who had 3 hard hit balls, 2 singles, and 2 runs scored out of the 9th spot.
Grounder, third, past the glove of O'Brien, foul for a strike on Nicole Palmer. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. 10-1 advantage for the Frazier Commodores. Nicole, I don't know if she would like to get the half inning off, or knowing Nicole, she kind of likes to pitch.
Yeah, I think she wants to close this out in the pitcher's circle, but I don't think she'd be against ending it here.
As you can see, the kind of frustration with herself after that swing.
Yeah, she was a little ahead of herself on that one. Nice job by Giles to slow things down there.
1-2, the pitch home, the Palmer liner up the middle as Nicole Palmer moves Hartman to second in the winning run. Inches closer to home as Nicole has reached for the 3rd time today, and here comes Emma Cortina. Maybe? As you can hear assistant coach Mandy Hartman yelling at Donnie, runner for your pitcher, runner for your pitcher, as Here comes Cortina. I think we were ahead of Coach Hartman on that one as well.
I think we were.
You just get so used to it that every time that she gets on, we see Cortina come on. The Commodore is very excited for Demakis as it's Vaughn and Wyszynski through the windscreen. Can see their excitement, hoping that the sophomore can finish it off. If not, they'll turn things over to Jensen. Demakis, swing and a miss. Winning run at second, 10-1. Frazier leads. Cortina at first. Hartman at second. Claire Demakis at the dish. Pitch to Demakis in the air. Left side and ranging under at the shortstop, Mitten. As it's a P6 for out number 2. And now it's going to take a 2-out base knock for Jensen Hartman. Jensen reached on her first 2 trips. Missed out on her second 2. See if Jensen can end it here. Or is she going to make Nicole throw some more pitches? First pitch, strike 1 to Jensen Hartman. Hartman looks down to third.
I had to go teach that dinosaur over there how to use a charger.
No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2-1. Pitch to Jensen. Holds off in there. As freezing Jensen Hartman was Justina Giles. 2 on, 2 out, 2 strikes on Jensen Hartman. Winning run, 120 feet away in the form of the youngest Hartman sister. Pitch to Jensen, outside 1-2. 33 trying to drive in 22 while 44 watches.
There you go. Be a nice way to
Family
end it for the
affair.
Hartmans.
Family affair, Jose. The 1-2 to Jensen. Jensen in the air as Jensen sends it out and into the glove of the center fielder, Delaney Walsh. As in F8 ends the threat in the 6th. Only the second time this afternoon the Commodores haven't played it a run. So Nicole Palmer will have to get 3 outs on the hill to end this thing. Frazier no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 doors left, stranded through 6 full innings. Frazier 10, OLSH 1. Frazier 3 outs away from a date with Neshannock. It's gonna be Mitten, Walsh, Fabiano. A combined 2 for 8. The 3 hitters have that marked to their ledger thus far. Palmer, 7 Ks. Always finds herself around that double-digit plateau, no matter if it's pretty or not.
Yeah, she's done her job very well here in the pitching circle today, and big reason why Frazier's been able to have so much success this season and why they're just 3 outs away from an appearance in the 2A title game.
Palmer in the circle. Nicole gets the spin and grip she likes. First pitch low and inside. As Mitten took it off the inner part of the plate. The 1-0 for Nicole Palmer. Make it 1-1 as Palmer pulls even. Frazier 3 outs before OLSH gets 9 runs. Palmer, the 1-1, fouled off. Right side, 1-2. Now Minton on the verge of striking out for the 3rd time today. She would join Schwegas with that feat. 2 strikes on Minton. Palmer rocks and fires. Fouled off near side. As the count stays put on the right-handed hitting Alyssa Mitten. Palmer back up on the rubber, gets the sign from the freshman Emmy Bednar. 2-strike offering again in the air, right side, and that one sails foul into the weeds and into the abyss.
Into the abyss of softballs that might be found within the next decade.
There has to be, 70, 80 balls in there?
There might be softballs that were hit in 2012 when I was a student here. That might still be down there.
2-strike pitch by Palmer in the air. Pop up, ranging back, Wyszynski. There's out number 1. Or make it a P6. Retiring Minton. It's kind of like, that abyss is kind of like the fence in the Sandlot. The beast back there guarding all the baseballs.
There might be as many baseballs as the beast was guarding in that movie. Yes, you are correct.
Got to connect the dots here, Jose. There's ball 1. You know, we saw Bad News Bears references from Coach Hartman last game. We'll get the Sandlot into the thick of things here from Norwin. Palmer rocks and deals. That one misses to Delaney Walsh. Walsh 0 for 3. 2 flyouts to DeMarcus and a ground out to Tori Wyszynski. OLSH will take on Laurel if they lose in the third place game. 2-0. 2-1 now as Palmer paints the outer third. Frazier 2 outs away from going dancing at the 2A championship. The 2-1 by Palmer. That one misses. Make it 3-1 on Delaney Walsh. And we talked about OLSH needs base runners any way the Chargers can get them. 1 out, nobody on. Palmer gets the grip. 3-1. Swing and a miss. Fills things up. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the 7th. 10-1 Commodore advantage. As Delaney Walsh digs back in against Palmer. Palmer gets the sign from Emmy Bednar. The payoff pitch by Palmer. Outside, ball 4. As it's a free pass with 1 out to Delaney Walsh, and that will bring up Kaylee Fabiano.
Yeah, Palmer didn't have any walks in the first 5 innings and now has started 3 free passes over the last inning and a third.
Fabiano, a triple, a single, and a flyout. First pitch to Fabiano the other way. That one drops in front of Felsher. Going to third is Walsh. She'll be in there safely as the ball got away from Vaughn. But I think a very smart and underrated play was Fabiano not risking anything over at first, because you run yourself on an out in the base path, that pretty much dooms you if you're OLSH.
Yeah,
you need base runners.
Yeah, you have to kind of go station to station right now and just make sure that you're not, you already have 1 out in the inning. You can't continue to give away outs. So nice heads-up base running by Fabiano, who's 3 for 4 today. Nice offensive performance for her.
Morgan O'Brien, a single, then 2 flyouts. 1 to DeMarcus, 1 to Felsher. Felsher had that last one fall in front of her. 10-1 Frazier leads here in the 7th. 1 out, runners at the corners against Nicole Palmer, the righty, the sophomore. Gets the sign, pitch home. In there for a strike.
And Frazier and Palmer have done a good job of limiting Morgan O'Brien's offensive production. He said earlier on the broadcast, Alex, how she has 12 RBIs in her 2 playoff games, only 1 for 3 today.
Pitch by Palmer. That one misses. Great job holding back by the sophomore third baseman, Morgan O'Brien.
A big opportunity here for her to add to that RBI total, though.
The 2-1. Fouled off as that one slammed off the far side backstop.
I think it might have scared Mike Darnay a bit.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 1 out, 10-1 Doors lead, top 7. Trying to punch their ticket to the championship game. That one skied right side. Warnick gives a look, and it's off of the top of the Frazier dugout. So that's the last one. We don't got any more balls.
Maybe they can get a basketball down here or something from the Norwin gym.
2-2. In the air the other way. Frazier over, and Maria Frazier makes the catch. Walsh tag. She will score. It's a sack fly for Morgan O'Brien. Well, I'm sure the Commodores will take the trade-off. And out for a run. It's 10-2, and there's 1 out away from a Commodore victory. Here is Justina Giles, the final hope possibly for the OLSH Chargers. Nishanik on deck for the winner. Frazier's hoping that's them. It's 10-2. Ground ball, right side. Hartman to Warnick, and Frazier's back to the 2A championship game. The 4th time in 5 years as Hartman to Warnick ends it. It's a 10-2 final. As the Commodores are going dancing once again, they will take on the Shannick in a battle of the unbeatens. 1 versus 2 for the 2A title as Jensen goes to jump on her dad, and Grayson will join in afterwards. But Frazier, 10-2 victory. Tori Wyszynski still has a chance at another WPIAL gold. As the Commodores victorious here today, they're going back to the 2A title as they take care of business 10-2 over Our Lady of Sacred Heart. We'll take a break, come back. It'll be your player of the game, and we'll send you on your way right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Life is full of surprises. Some good, some not so good. It's why your State Farm agent is there with good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates for everyone. Yep, that's right, at State Farm you get great service and great rates with every policy, so you can be prepared for all life's surprises. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Brian Warnick in Perryopolis today at 412-668-0111.
Final score, Frazier victorious 10-2. They're going back to the WPIAL championship game where they will face number 1, Nishanik. As Frazier pounded the ball offensively after a scare in the first. As we'll go through some final numbers for you here as the Commodores make their way back to the WPIAL championship game. As in the top of the first, it was a close call as a fly out, then back-to-back-to-back singles, but a throw out. Hartman to Palmer to Bednar for out number 2 in the inning, keeping it scoreless, allowing Frazier to get the offense going. A leadoff walk to Hartman, an infield single by Frazier, walk by Wyszynski, RBI groundouts by Warnick and Vaughn made it 2-0 Frazier. After 1, the Commodores would add 1 more in the second, as it was a double by Hartman, was doubled off. As coming in to score the 3rd run would be Emma Cortina on the Maria Frazier knock, making it a 3-1 Frazier lead. That would stay or 3-0 Frazier lead. It would stay that way till the 4th inning. And that's when OLSH, would strike through. A leadoff diving grab by Frazier. A single by Fabiano would come in to score on the E1 by Palmer. That made it 3-1, but Frazier would answer with 2 of their own in the 4th. as it was a leadoff ground out by Palmer, single by DeMarcus, ground out by Hartman. Frazier reached on the E3, and a RBI double by Wyshynski, scoring both DeMarcus and Frazier. That made it 5-1 Frazier. They would add 5 more in the 5th, as it was a leadoff triple by Bednar, a walk to Palmer, a single by DeMarcus as Bednar scored on an error, and then Frazier a 2-run single, walk to Wyshynski, and a 2-run triple for Warnick, making it 10-1 Frazier. 1 more in the 7th for OLSH, as they would score 1 on a sac fly by O'Brien, plating Walsh, making it 10-2. That was your final. OLSH 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 7th. 2 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors, 8 left on base. Loss goes to Justina Giles. Frazier 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 5 in the 5th. 10 runs, 12 hits, 1 error, 9 left aboard. The win goes to Nicole Palmer, and the Commodores have a chance at a 2A title as they will take on the Shannick from Cal U on June 2nd. They're going dancing once again as they're back to the 2A title game, looking to get back on top, 4th time in 5 years, looking for their 2nd in school history, and should be a lot of fun to see 1 versus 2 in a battle of the unbeatens. But on behalf of Jose Negron and everyone here at MVI Live, actually, one more piece of housekeeping to do before I send you on your way. Your player of the game brought to you by your local State Farm agent. That is Maria Frazier, 3 for 4, 3 runs, 3 RBIs. The Commodores back to the WPIAL championship game. But on behalf of Jose Negron and everyone here on Team MVI, I'm Alex Lyon saying thanks for tuning on, and congratulations to both of our local teams, EF and Frazier, both on to the championship game in softball, as Frazier will take on the Shannick for the 2A title. Your final score, the Commodores 10, the Chargers 2. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Your final score, one final time, Frazier 10, OLSH 2. The Commodores back to the championship game.